Hey, everybody, welcome back to the A to Jump podcast. This is episode 14. I am your host, Jake, aka Gooba of the YouTube channel Gooba and Jetpack. And as always, I'm joined by my co host and good buddy and friend and pal, Justin of Justin Games. How we doing, Justin?
Hello. Fantastic. How are you?
But never better. Wonderful.
Never better.
And
Jake truly is one take Jake this time. That was the first take.
He did it. There will not be a blooper reel for that part, at least.
No, not on that one. Well, Jake, we got a lot that we can kind of go over today. Witcher Season 3 is in its entirety out on Netflix. We both watched that.
Mm-hmm.
Jake's picked up the first book in the Witcher book series.
Mm-hmm.
So we're going to discuss that a little bit. I've been playing Baldur's Gate 3, and that's kind of about it. I haven't been venturing too far out. I haven't been playing Tears of the Kingdom very much.
Mm-hmm.
So no more Zelda talk. Jetpack. So you're good.
You don't have to skip ahead this time.
Nope.
And
then a bunch of other news, some Call of Duty news, Red Dead, all that kind of fun stuff.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
I don't want to. Sorry, go ahead.
No, you good. I was just gonna say we don't. I always go into these episodes thinking like, oh, we don't have that much to get into, and then I think of like, oh, what about that? Or I forgot this came out, or this we can talk about, and then we have, 2 hours later.
Yeah, this will fill probably 2 hours for sure.
Yeah.
Plenty of good discussion points here.
All right.
Well, I don't want to talk forever about Witcher Season 3, otherwise we'll never get to the other stuff.
Mm-hmm.
But what did you think? What did you think of the final episodes?
I have mixed feelings about it. The first episode of season 3 part 2, I guess,
episode 5,
episode
or 6.
6. I thought that was great. Is the
phenomenal. Yeah,
light spoilers here, the big battle between the mages and
the Thaned coup, as it's called.
Thaned 2. Okay.
Oh,
Thaned coup. Okay.
Coup.
I thought you were saying like the sequel to Thaned. Like, did this happen before?
Thaned coup. COUP, right? That's how you spell that?
I think so.
Okay.
We're gonna
not
go
with a
that.
K. All right. Yeah, Thaned coup is what it's referenced as.
Yeah. I thought that was great. Really good action sequences. Got to see a lot of big story beats happen. Got to see Geralt's fight with Vilgefortz, which was very cool.
Mm-hmm.
And then, the group is once again separated.
Yep.
Geralt needs to go and heal and rest up, and then Ciri, pretty much the whole second episode was entirely on Ciri, was it not?
Maybe not the entire, but most of it definitely was.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I can't say I loved that episode.
Whatever, Jake.
I don't know.
Just kidding.
I think it was, it was good. I love Ciri's actor, Freya Allen, is it?
Freya Allen, yep.
Yeah, she's phenomenal. I really like her. But that episode, it just kind of felt like it dragged to me. I'd like to hear your thoughts on it, though, because you have read through all the books that they've covered so far, correct?
Yeah, yep.
So,
I really enjoyed the entirety of season 3, honestly. Okay. I won't touch on the one thing I didn't like because it's a spoiler.
Mm-hmm.
But it is small. But I thought it was, surprise, the internet didn't like it. Didn't like season 3.
Mm-hmm.
again, still claiming that it deviates too far from the source material, which, sure, but it was the closest to the source material. It's the closest season they've had to source material yet.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, seasons 1 and 2 definitely deviated, but 3 was pretty close. I mean, they did a few different things, just like every show was going to do.
Mm-hmm.
But I thought it was really good. I loved, like you said, that sixth episode.
6. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, the Thaned coup, the sorcerers fighting, and Geralt's fight with Vilgefortz was everything I wanted it to be.
Yeah.
Like from the moment I read that fight in the book, and I knew they were making the show at that time, I was like, I can't wait to see that fight. It's gonna be so cool. And I'm forgetting the actor's name that plays Vilgefortz. Mahesh Jadoo. I might be mispronouncing that. He's phenomenal.
Mm-hmm.
He played perfect Vilgefortz, and just all. Did you kind of see his betrayal coming?
No,
not
at all. Maybe that makes me dumb, but I was like,
I don't think it. I obviously knew. I don't think the show did a very good job at hiding it. I think they were kind of setting it up, but again, I knew.
Yeah.
And my wife, who I watched the show with, guessed it was him that was the rogue sorcerer.
Mm-hmm.
So she was able to guess it, but yeah, I was so excited to see that twist and that fight, and it was even cooler than I hoped it would be. It was, I think his name, the fight coordinator, his name's like Wolfgang something. I think he was on Game of Thrones. I don't remember.
Okay.
But yeah, the fight scenes, even in seasons 1 and 2, the fight scenes are phenomenal. Best fight scenes in any fantasy show I've ever seen. Way better than Game of Thrones fight scenes. Sorry, Game of Thrones fans. Those fight scenes suck compared to The Witcher. But yeah.
So something I want to say about that. I think you're right, but I also think that The Witcher just in general has a more grand type of fight scene. It's very well choreographed. There's a lot of movement. It's very fast. Yeah. Mm-hmm. Game of Thrones is very like gritty with its fights. It's not, you're not gonna see like lots of parrying and like spinning around and stuff. They are hacking each other. Like,
well, that's what I want to see. I want to see some swinging swords. In Game of Thrones, it's like everybody has a sword that weighs 500 pounds, is taller than them. Yep. They can barely pick it up, and they're just, It's like, okay, this fight kind of sucks, but yeah, I'm just excited to see what season 4 is gonna bring. I know Liam Hemsworth is coming on, taking over for Henry Cavill. That's probably gonna suck, but I mean, Henry Cavill could have stayed if he wanted to. That's my biggest thing. I don't know. I don't think we have the whole story.
Yeah.
I think there's more going on. I'm not standing up for Netflix because I would never. Yeah. But I mean, I'm not going to stand up for Henry Cavill either. In the end, it's just a TV show. It's hopefully it keeps doing well. I think they only have plans for 2 more seasons. Mm-hmm. And then they'll wrap it up. So, I mean, I think it'll be all right.
Yeah.
But, sorry, your original question was what I thought of the Siri Desert episode.
Mm-hmm.
I liked it. It
Okay.
was so, yep. In the books, I mean, it's about exactly how it happens. She gets teleported to a desert and is completely alone and goes a little cuckoo and has
Mm-hmm.
visions and gets visits from her mother and, I mean, in her head, obviously. But yeah, I think, were you maybe confused more than anything? Like, why is this unicorn here with the biggest set of balls I've ever seen? And why is he just disappearing and stuff like that?
I mean, the whole episode kind of confused me. I was like, is she actually here, or is there some like sorceress that's got her in some sort of trance? Like, what about this is real and what isn't?
That's
Which is
interesting.
always like, you mean, it's a fantasy show, it has magic in it. There's always kind of muddy waters when it comes
Of
to
course.
what's real and what's not. Um, but yeah, I was definitely like, the whole episode was kind of trying to figure out. I was like, okay, this woman that she's seeing, is she there or is she a hallucination? Um, Not really her mother per se. I knew that that was
Yeah,
a
but
hallucination, but
Falca, the
mhm,
woman in black.
yeah, I was the whole time I was kind of trying to figure out like, is this real or is this all in her head?
So definitely in her head.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, that's interesting. I hadn't thought of it that way.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, she really is in the middle of a desert.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, so the tower of the gull that she jumped through, Torlara,
Mm-hmm.
is a portal. And
Okay.
they mentioned a few times in the show that Torlara is putting out weird frequencies or it's acting weird. And I'm guessing that's because Siri was there, maybe. And then once Siri got right up next to it, it just poofed her anywhere.
Yeah.
I think, yeah, she could have ended up on the moon.
Mm-hmm.
So, but yeah, I liked that. The whole Broccolon forest scene, we get introduced to Milva, the archer. She's gonna be a big character. Uh, yeah, I liked it all. Um, I remember because you had said um, you were wanting like a better send off for Henry, that he's separated and
Mm-hmm.
from Siri, and Yennefer's off trying to do her own thing. Um, Personally, I kind of like it as the send off. I understand it's not a very grand send off, but I
Mm-hmm.
mean it's how it happens in the books.
Yeah.
They're all separated. Um, and Geralt's gonna have to go on his little adventure, and to try to go all the way to Nilfgaard, which I guess the show maybe doesn't do a great job, neither do the books, but it's very, very far.
Yeah.
It's I think he because I'm currently reading the book, at least listening to the next book, which will be covered next season,
Mm-hmm.
and he calculates it'll take him like just under 2 years to walk there.
Wow.
So and the dude's got a way to go.
Mm-hmm.
But I liked it, man. I think I said last episode I've unfollowed all the Witcher stuff. I'm not watching any YouTube reviews on it. It's everyone's just so negative. I like to enjoy my things because Witcher's probably my favorite media. It's definitely my favorite books. It's one of
Mm-hmm.
my favorite games. I don't mind the show. I want to enjoy it. It's fun to enjoy things.
Yeah.
Let me enjoy things, damn it.
Let people enjoy things. That's the key takeaway here.
Yeah.
No,
So
I like I like getting your perspective on it because you know you've read the books. You're such a big fan of the games. Um, where I my first introduction to the series at all was Witcher 3, which I played a decent bit of, haven't nowhere near finishing.
sure.
And then I watched the show basically with no knowledge of that part of the story. Um, and I enjoyed the first season. I had no reason not to. Um, because I wasn't basing it off of anything.
True. Yeah.
And season 2 I enjoyed a lot. And it wasn't until I finished part 1 of season 3 that I really even knew people didn't like The Witcher that much. Like, I knew
Sure.
there was talk about it, but it wasn't until then that I'd finished episode 5 of season 3 before the last 3 episodes came out, and I just went on YouTube to look up like a recap. Basically, it's a lot of information. There's a lot of crazy names and different
Yeah.
places. So I just wanted to like get an understanding, not so much of Geralt's story or like Ciri or Yennefer, but the overarching world and the politics that takes up a lot of the show.
Yeah.
And it wasn't until then that I started seeing like really how much people didn't like it. And I was just like, okay, maybe it's not fully accurate all the time, but is it that bad?
I think I don't know if I've said it before on here, but they would benefit from 2 more episodes a season. They only
Yeah.
had 8. Like Lauren Histrich just said Netflix only gives her 8 episodes.
Mm-hmm.
It's too big of a world with too many characters that are important to only have 8 episodes. They just can't get their point across the way that it should, because Game of Thrones does it in 10 episodes. You know,
Yeah.
I don't have a problem following that world.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't think a lot of people did. 8 episodes just wasn't enough.
Yeah.
So I think 2 more episodes, 2 more hours to get to know people a little bit more would have helped. Because I think I've watched all the seasons multiple times,
Mm-hmm.
and I try to see it from a new viewer's perspective, like from your perspective, like the first time you watch it. And I think I would be confused, totally confused. Like, who's that? Where did they come from? How did she get there?
Mm-hmm.
Like, even in season 3, like Fringilla, who was the Nilfgaardian sorceress, gets banned by the Emperor. She fakes her death and is partying in that bar.
Mm-hmm.
And the next time you see her, she's in Thanedd with Nilfgaard, ready to fight.
Yeah.
And I'm kind of like, wait a minute, how did she get there? And it's just kind of like, you have to be paying really close attention
Mm-hmm.
to what she says in the bar, where these guys are talking about the boats that are disappearing and that she's interested in why they're disappearing. So apparently she went and investigated and hooked up with Cahir and went from there. I don't know.
Yeah.
Or not Cahir, but the elven sorceress, Francesca.
Yeah.
It's just, I would be confused not knowing anything.
Yeah. I think that you make a good point, that it could do with at least 2 more episodes just to build kind of the story that they're, because it's I would say that it's very comparable, if not bigger, in terms of the world and the amount of characters as something like Game of Thrones.
Yeah.
And part of, one of the reasons that I really enjoyed, especially the first, 2 or 3 seasons of Game of Thrones, is because they really did a good job building the world for someone who was not familiar with the source material at all.
Right.
And I think that's what was difficult with The Witcher, is like, it was really hard to follow what all was going on in just 8 episodes.
I could definitely see that.
Mm-hmm.
Is Siri talking to you there?
Yeah. Not the Witcher series.
Not Cirilla,
Yeah.
your watch.
Yeah. The Apple
That's
Siri.
funny. The Apple Siri.
But
But I mean, overall, I liked it. I liked it a lot.
Yeah.
Hunker down for, I don't know, 2 or 3 more years until season 4 comes out.
yeah.
Maybe you can finish the books by then.
Yeah. I'm really
Speaking
enjoying Yeah. Speaking of,
Speaking of,
I have started reading The Last Wish, which
ba-bum.
uh, I know you know this, but they might not know that that's the first uh, book in the Witcher series, technically. Um,
Yes.
uh, and I'm enjoying it. I'm probably like halfway through, and I'm starting to uh, the things that I've seen from the first season, because you said the first season is just the first book. Is that right?
The first two.
The first two books.
Yeah, Last
Okay.
Wish and Sword of Destiny are the short stories.
Okay.
That's season 1.
Okay. So I'm starting to kind of remember, because I haven't seen season one since it aired, basically.
Right.
But I'm starting to kind of remember some of these stories, or like at least some of these characters from the short stories now. Um, and I like it. It's cool to see kind of a different um, view of the show or of the story in general.
Sure.
Um, I
I'm
still
trying to.
have a tendency to hear Geralt's voice as the voice actor from the game. Like when I'm reading his
Okay.
lines, I just hear it as that voice.
Yep. I,
I don't know
I
if you
kind of do
do
the
it.
same thing too. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's always the deep grovel, just like
Hmm.
just like Henry Cavill's. Henry.
Yeah.
Doug Doug Cockle, I think, is the voice actor for which I think he's the voice in all 3 of the Witcher games.
Hmm.
But yeah, him. It's very similar to Henry Cavill's, and even the audiobooks, which I would also highly recommend. They're very good.
Okay.
Uh, Peter Kenny is a narrator on that, and he does the same voice too. I mean, they
Hmm.
all have the same voice. So yeah, every time if I read the actual book, yeah, I have the same deep voice in my head too.
Yeah. But no, I'm enjoying it. I'm excited about reading, which I haven't been in probably 10 years.
That's good. I'm
Yeah.
very happy because these are extremely good books.
Hmm.
I love them.
But
Let's see. The first short story is the um. Why can't I think of it?
it's the Striga, is it not?
Striga. There it
Yeah.
is. Yes. Did you like that one?
I did. Um
Yeah.
I like how I actually like the short story format. How it
Yeah.
doesn't really like there's not a whole lot of like build up to what's happening. It just kind of drops you in, you know, Geralt's riding into town and you learn about him and about kind of the world and what Witchers do just at
Yeah.
through that scenario.
Yep. It's pretty. I should do some more research into this, but I'm pretty sure Andrei Sapkowski, the author, only he just like submitted these short stories into a magazine,
Hmm.
like just here, just for fun, I think,
Yeah.
and they just took off from there. Like that's pretty cool that this would just a story like this would just start in something
Yeah.
so simple and so small, I guess.
Do you know
Um,
when these were first published?
late '80s, I think.
Okay. So it's been
Yeah,
a long
so
time.
yeah, in the magazine, I don't know, but like I
Hmm.
think the books came out late '80s, early '90s,
Okay.
and then they were strictly in Polish,
Hmm.
and it took them a long time to translate it out of Polish into English. So like the newest book I think just came out in 2016
Okay.
in English anyway.
Hmm.
So and I have I saw something somewhere that he was working on another one, which
Yeah.
would be super cool.
Yeah.
But my favorite short story from that one is I'm struggling to remember the names of the stories, but it's the one with Renfrey. Have you gotten to that one yet?
Yeah. I just finished that one with the
Yeah.
at um the child surprise. Was that the one?
No.
No. Okay. Wait, no, Renfrey. Who's Renfrey?
Renfrey was the shit. She was gonna murder everybody in the town square.
Yeah.
Until
Okay. No, I remember now. Sorry. I was thinking of the what's the in the one where Geralt has to go to the
ball or whatever.
Yeah, what's the dude's name that shows up to
Dooney?
Dooney. That's what,
Dooney.
why did I mix that up?
I don't know.
There's a lot of names and they're kind of
so
weird.
many names. I agree. Yes.
Yeah, but no, Renfrey, that was a great one. I really enjoyed that.
I can't remember the name of the one with Dooney is A Question of Price. That's the name of that one.
Mm-hmm.
I can't remember Renfrey's, but that's my favorite one. I love that the fight between Geralt and Renfrey, which was also super good in the show too.
Mm-hmm.
I think that was the first episode of the show.
I don't know if this is the title of the story, but I know a theme of that one was like the lesser evil or something.
That's it.
Is that what it's called?
How did I forget that? Yes, that's the lesser evil.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, my bad.
I mean, I just read it, so it's it's fresh in my mind still.
The lesser evil.
Yeah. No,
well,
I like that
anything else to say about The Witcher other than it's amazing and awesome and everybody should love it?
It's real good.
It's real good.
Watching the show made me want to read the books, and now reading the books makes me want to play the game again.
I really want to play the game again too.
Yeah, I haven't played it since it got like the PS5 like upgrade. So
yeah.
And I have it. It's on my system, so I need to play it.
Nice. Yeah, you got it. No excuses.
I think I have it on like 3 different systems actually. I think I've got it on. I bought it on Switch, and I realized quickly that that's not the way to play that game.
No, it's not. But I sure enjoyed the heck out of it on Switch.
Yeah, and then I think I do have it on Steam also.
Oh man.
So,
yeah, I have it on PC and PlayStation and Switch. So yeah, I have it on 3.
Yeah, there you go.
3 of them too.
Yeah.
If you do decide to play, you should stream it for sure, and I will definitely hop in on that.
I would. I'm trying to it's gonna have to probably wait until after this next round of busy season for me.
Yeah, I was gonna say, I'm sure you're in busy season.
Yeah, but I want to get back into streaming games that have like a rich story that I can get into, because I think those are the ones that I enjoy the most. And I want to do stuff that, I want to start a game and finish a game all on stream. Like,
that would be cool.
Play a little bit off and then I come back and everyone's confused. Like, I kind of want to have a consistent.
What happened? Where did you go?
Yeah. But
yeah,
maybe that'll do it. Maybe I'll do that one.
Sweet. Okay, well, tune in to Jake streaming Witcher 3 soon.
Yep.
Okay. Well, I've been playing a different 3. Best segue ever. Baldur's Gate 3. And I was kind of explaining before we started, I kind of had no interest in playing this. I think Baldur's Gate 2 came out a million years ago.
Mm-hmm.
I remember seeing like the pre-release stuff. It looked cool, but I was like, maybe it's probably not a game for me. I have played, so Larian Studios is a developer. And they made Divinity Original Sin and Divinity Original Sin 2, and I played probably 45 minutes of Divinity Original Sin 2, and I kind of liked it. It was just it was a big learning curve. It's a very much a CRPG, you're pointing and clicking at everything, and I think I just got overwhelmed and I quit. But after seeing people play Baldur's Gate 3 and people talk about Baldur's Gate 3, there's no way I couldn't play it. It seemed so cool. A very in-depth character creator, which is all I love.
Right up your alley.
Yeah. If it's got a character creator, I'm at least interested.
Mhm.
But I don't know, it really, really intrigued me. So I picked it up. I've already made like 4 characters, just playing around with everything. There's human, elf, dwarf, half elf, halfling. There's
Mhm.
so many options. So my first one, I went with a Githyanki, which, if you didn't know, this game is like completely based off of Dungeons and Dragons.
That's what I've heard.
Yeah, same rule sets, same characters you can pick from. So I went with the Githyanki, which I think is like an alien race. I'm not 100% sure on my lore here,
I
but I
have
went
like
with that.
a Dungeons and Dragons like beginner's guide somewhere
Yeah,
in here. I don't know.
somewhere over there.
Yeah. But I know that there's like 20 different races.
Oh,
That's probably a low ball. I think there's probably
yeah.
like 50.
I don't know about D&D, but I think this one there's like 10, maybe 11
Okay.
races you can pick from, and then
Mhm.
there's 12 different classes. And boy, is that overwhelming trying to pick which one you want, because I mean they kind of all have their pluses and minuses. They all do different things, but some things overlap. So I went with the Githyanki fighter, and just kind of wanted a simple I figured fighter might be like the simplest class. It's just that
Mhm.
melee, whatever, get in there. So I kind of did the intro. The intro's very good. Story wise, it hooks you in right away.
Yeah.
It's very, very cool. But you crash land off an alien ship onto a beach, and you kind of walk around, talk to people, get into fights, cool stuff like that. And
Okay.
I decided I didn't like my character, so I went back, started over, made a new character, and this time I went with an elven sorcerer, just a full elf
Mhm.
sorcerer, and I like that one a lot more. I think it's cool just being able to dish out spells, and I'm really enjoying it. All the dialogue. It's so well written. Every
Mhm.
character just feels 100% unique. Even the people, even just like the random NPCs that you run into. Um, there's there's like a castle entrance, for the lack of a better term, but it's being guarded by bandits.
Mhm.
And there's multiple ways you can sneak up on, or you can choose to sneak up on them, or you just walk right up to them. There's multiple people you can interact with. You can talk your way out of it, depending on your stats
Mhm.
that are given to you in character creation, depending on your class and stuff like that. You can talk your way out of fights. You can just straight up fight people. You can convince them that this castle is super dangerous and they should just run for their lives and stuff like that. I mean, there's just so many different cool ways. Because, like I said, I did one character, and then I went back with another character, and not a single interaction has been the same.
Really?
But yeah, I don't really think so. And I watch one of my favorite YouTubers, Christopher Odd. I've been watching him go through this. None of his interactions have been the same as what I've gotten.
Yeah.
Like, it's really cool how different it can be just based on what race, what class, stuff like that. Who's in your party? Like, it's you you find people throughout this beach, um, that you can recruit into your party. You can have three up to three people in your party, not
Mhm.
including you, and they'll chime in with their 2 cents on conversations. You can do things that make them mad, or things that make them happy. There's like a huge social aspect to this game between you and your partners,
Yeah.
or your party members, which I can't wait to dive into more. But I think I've heard that if you do enough things that make one of your characters mad, they'll just leave.
Oh, really?
They'll say, I don't want to be your partner anymore, and I guess they're gone. I don't know. I don't know if you can get them back or what.
Wow.
It's just so cool. And the gameplay itself, isn't as bad as I thought it would be. Not
Yeah.
not bad, but hard. I thought it would be pretty confusing, and I'm not very smart, so it is kind of hard for me. Like I don't know what add 1d4 plus intelligence modifier plus that I don't know what that is. So so in that aspect, I I'm enjoying watching YouTube videos of
Mhm.
people explaining these things, and it's like, oh, okay, that makes sense now.
Yeah.
So I've found several creators that I've never heard of before that are really good, and um uh kind of walk through the in, complexities of
Mhm.
this battle system, and it's not as bad as I thought it would be. I thought I would never be able to handle this, and I'd just give
Mhm.
up, and this like I did with Divinity.
Yeah.
But it's good. I like it a lot.
Yeah. I'm glad to hear that. I was kind of the same way or as you when it was first announced. Like I had no real well, you might have had more knowledge of it than I did. I was I think it was during E3 this year or whatever. Um and the trailer came on and I was like, Baldur's Gate 3. I didn't know there was a Baldur's Gate 2 or 1. So um but hearing you talk about it, especially hearing like how all the stats work and how like the conversation can change the interaction and stuff, that actually I've heard this described as like a basically a D&D simulator.
Oh,
And
100%.
having played some D&D myself, not a ton,
Yeah,
like
same.
I'm hearing this and it all kind of makes sense to me because you can really kind of do whatever you want in that game.
Mm-hmm.
Like you can kind of you are just given an interaction and you can decide what you say to these people. You can just like you can try and rather than fight them, you can try and use your persuasion to get around them or do like trick them in some way. Like, and the fact that you can do that in game and that you're watching the same interaction happen in a completely different way multiple times, like
Yeah.
that's a level of gaming that I honestly wasn't sure we would ever get to. Like that
Yeah.
level of like change.
It's just complexity, and yeah. And you can have different conversation options depending on your race
Mm-hmm.
or your um class. Like it'll pop up saying like in parentheses elf.
Yeah.
If you can say this because you're an elf, or you can say this because you're a sorcerer. It's that kind of stuff is so cool. And I remember like Cyberpunk doing that,
I was
you
just
know?
gonna say that.
Yeah, they did that, but I don't feel like it changed that much. I think me and you could be different. I could have been Corpo, you could have been Street Kid or whatever it was, and we could have gotten through the opening mission the exact same way every single time
Yeah.
with the same outcome. I don't feel like that with Baldur's Gate 3. It's very unique depending on a million different factors.
Yeah. I was just gonna bring up Cyberpunk because that's something that they tried to do and it didn't do anything.
It just didn't
I
work.
I personally when I played it, I played as a street kid, but I've seen other people play as Corpo or as Nomad, and
Yep.
it only changes the first 15 minutes. Like that
Just that.
opening cutscene of how
Yep.
you get into
How
that
you meet
job
Jackie.
with
Yep.
Jackie. That's it.
That's it.
It's so
If
frustrating because
it
that's
was, because that's what we wanted. Like Baldur's Gate 3 is what we wanted out of Cyberpunk.
Mhm.
And you can see your character.
Yeah.
That's what I want.
Yeah.
Come on. Why do I want a first person
That you can
RPG like that? I
only
don't.
see in the menu or in a mirror, and it's terrifying.
Yeah, your fingernails. Like, make sure
Yeah.
you like those, because that's what you're going to be seeing a lot of.
Yeah. Um,
But I think I don't know. I think you would enjoy it simply for that fact that it is extremely unique. It is super fun to play.
Hmm.
Even just creating your character, dude. I've gone in and just farted around like, oh, I'll make a cool looking dwarf monk.
Yeah.
You know, just try to see how cool I can make somebody look. It's fun.
Yeah. No, I like that. I'm more interested in it now than I was before. Just hearing like all of the choice that you have in how you create your character and how you go about, the story in general and how much it can
Mm-hmm.
change. Like it does overwhelm me a little bit because as I've said before, when it comes to like open world games or like, RPGs and
Yeah.
things like that, I get overwhelmed when there's like a lot of choice in front of me. Um, and I'm afraid that it would be a game that I would start and then have to put down for whatever reason and then not be able to get back into.
You know what? Yeah, and realistically, that's probably how I'll end up too, because this is probably going to be a humongous game.
Oh, I'm
Um,
certain.
but you're right, it is overwhelming. But that's the thing. It's been fun to try and dive deeper, to try and
Hmm.
understand my class. Like I said, I'm a sorcerer, so I'm searching on YouTube sorcerer Baldur's Gate 3 build, and just listening to what all these people think is the best way to build your sorcerer class.
Yeah.
And that's really cool. That's fun. So like whatever class you do pick, yeah, you're gonna be confused unless you're like a D&D expert,
Hmm.
which I don't think either of us are.
No.
Um, you're not gonna understand it. So it's fun just to get in there and figure things out. And there's some good channels out there that really know their stuff.
Yeah. No, I'll definitely I'll keep it in mind at least. The next few months are going to be kind of crazy. I don't know if I'm going to even have time to start a new game, but
Sure.
I definitely want to keep it, down the road at some point. I think I'd like to check it out, which I'm sure it's only going to get better from here on out.
Right.
Yeah.
If you do decide to, it is multiplayer. We could play
Okay.
together,
Okay.
and I could help you through that first little area, and then we're
Mhm.
noobs together because I haven't gotten very far.
Okay.
It's a game you can definitely like take your time with, explore,
Hmm.
have conversations with.
Okay. Yeah. I would definitely be down to try that.
Sweet. Well, you
Um,
let me know.
So something that I did want to mention now that we're talking about Baldur's Gate is there was a strange kind of I don't want to say narrative. I don't really know how to. There was a group of game devs from other companies who saw the success of Baldur's Gate and like they've done in the past have kind of sort of put it in a negative light, but not really about the game itself. They
Okay,
were
let's hear it.
basically
I didn't see
from
this.
what I've heard and what I've seen. There was a group of devs, I don't know from which companies, that were basically saying, "Look, this game is great. It's like perfectly made. It's finished. It's not.
Yeah.
It's not going to require like 10 patches to make it playable."
Right.
And they basically said, "Don't expect that from anyone else." Like they're kind of saying,
You know what? Yeah, I did see that. Like,
yeah, they're
what do
kind
you
of
mean, dude?
well,
Honestly, I think Larian it might be a Polish developer.
okay.
I don't know. They're definitely not American.
Hmm.
Um, they took their time with this game,
Yeah,
right? Divinity Original Sin. God, when did that come out?
I feel like I've heard that name for years now. I don't even know.
Yeah. Okay, we're both gonna Google it, aren't we?
Well, I'll let you do it.
Okay. 2017.
Okay,
That's
6 years.
definitely their last game. Yeah, so 6 years. I mean, they took their time. They had an early access 2 years ago, I think.
Mm-hmm.
And they took player feedback and they implemented it, and they took their time, they did it the right way. You're right, you're not going to see that out of very
Yeah.
many other developers.
And I think what bothered me about that, and what bothered a lot of people, is just, why are you resigning yourself to that type of development?
I don't
Like,
know.
you're just basically saying, like, you see this great game, we're never going to make that for you. Or it's going to be 6 months after release. It's like, why don't you just not release it then? Or take your time. Like, and I'm mainly thinking about this as like the big developers who are very guilty of making those types of games in the past, like EA, Blizzard, Ubisoft especially.
Ooh,
Like,
yeah.
and putting all of these projects on their plate and just agreeing to deadlines that they should not agree to, and then putting out games that are mostly unfinished by the time they hit release.
I think the gaming industry is unique,
Mm-hmm.
and I think that they don't care. Ubisoft puts out a Far Cry 6, or EA puts out Jedi Survivor.
Mm-hmm.
Day one, they sell millions of copies.
Yeah.
They probably make all their money back in 12 hours. And that's it. That's all they care about, right? They made their money on day freaking one.
Yeah.
And sure, there's going to be some bad press, but they already made their money back.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, you can't refund digital games, right? Can you even refund physical games anymore? I mean, probably.
Sometimes.
GameStop or somebody has a policy, but I mean,
Mm-hmm.
they still made their money. I don't think that they care if they just want it out the door. And I heard this on the Play Watch Listen podcast, which is Alana Pierce, her podcast with Troy Baker, Austin Winnery, and crap, what's the last guy's name?
I mean, already I feel like I need to be listening to this one.
Mike Bithell.
Okay.
He's and Austin Winnery was talking about these gaming companies have a saying, or have something called MVP, which isn't what you think it would be. It's called minimum viable product. It's what is the minimum amount of work we can put into this game to get it out the door and it not set the world on fire,
Yeah.
And I think that's EA, that's Ubisoft, that's whoever else you said. That's kind of their whole thing. Just get it out the door, let it make money, and we'll deal with it afterwards.
Yeah.
And the only thing that happens to them is some people say stuff on Twitter, and Cyberpunk might be an exception where PlayStation literally took it off their marketplace,
Mm-hmm.
but that's never happened since or before, right? That's
That's not common, for sure.
no, not common. That was an outlier. I mean, so that's not gonna. I don't think too many companies are seriously worried about that. It's, I don't know. It's just weird. It's just a weird thing that not everybody does.
Yeah.
Because look at Rockstar, they don't put out games before they're ready.
Mm-hmm.
Um,
Except for the GTA trilogy, that remaster that they did.
Yeah, that's true. And we're gonna get into Rockstar later. True.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
But I don't feel like either Red Dead game was released in a bad condition.
Mm-hmm.
GTA, the mainline GTA's 5. That's an enormous success now.
Yeah.
Um, but and like Nintendo doesn't do that. I don't feel like Nintendo has ever done that.
No.
I mean, there's probably some exceptions I can't quite think of,
Well,
but
Pokemon.
yeah,
Yeah.
that might have been their first. But is that Nintendo? Sure, is that the Pokemon company that did that?
I think that's more Pokemon and Game Freak. It's just a
Yeah, sorry,
Nintendo.
Game Freak. Yeah,
Yeah.
Game Freak.
Hmm.
Nintendo just publishes it.
Yeah.
Um, but yeah, I mean, you look at both Zelda games that we've gotten the past 6 years. They've delayed and delayed and delayed and delayed those games to make sure that they worked right. God, could you imagine Tears of the Kingdom if it didn't work right?
Oh man.
That game is so complex as it is. But yeah, I hope that I hope the gaming industry is kind of moving away from that we just release it and we'll deal with it afterwards.
Hmm.
And they take a page out of Larian's book. Do it the right way, or Nintendo's book. Do it the right way the first time, and people will praise you for it and might go and buy your next game. Maybe that's where they get hurt.
Yeah.
You know, is Ubisoft, oh, I don't know if I'm going to go pick up this new Ubisoft game because I don't know if it's going to be ready.
Yeah.
Maybe that's where that comes in. So I didn't think about that. But yeah, that's my thoughts on the gaming industry as a whole.
Yeah. Well, good news is we're not even close to done talking about the gaming industry. But we'll move on for now. I did want to touch on the next Call of Duty was officially announced as Modern Warfare 3, which is a surprising one because for the last 10, 15 years, it's always been a back and forth every year
I didn't think
between
about that.
Infinity Ward, who makes Modern Warfare, and Treyarch, who makes the Black Ops games.
Mm-hmm.
And Call of Duty, it is what it is. There's always issue. Like, I don't think there's ever been a perfect Call of Duty release. There's always issues. It always seems a little bit rushed, but the fact that they always have at least that kind of 2-year gap, I think helps a little bit with, making sure that the game is decently well put together. So the fact that they're going right from Modern Warfare 2 to Modern Warfare 3, I'm a little bit concerned, I guess. I mean,
It is a surprise, yeah. I'm pretty checked out on Call of Duty, so forgive my ignorance, but it was Modern Warfare 2, was that last year?
Yeah.
Okay, so they didn't even skip a year.
Yeah, so it's going right from Modern Warfare 2 to Modern Warfare 3.
And what was before Mod 2? Was that Black Ops 4?
That was Vanguard. No, it was Cold War.
Jesus.
And then before that was Vanguard.
So is Treyarch getting a 2-year gap then?
I guess. I don't know, honestly.
Weird. Yeah, we might have to dive into that a little more.
Yeah. Honestly, I'm not even that big of a Call of Duty fan anymore, but I've played up until this point all of the Modern Warfare games, at least. Played most of the Black Ops games. So I feel like I have somewhat of a connection to it still. One thing they need to do with this one, and they should have done with all of them, is bring back freaking All or Nothing.
Yes, you, me, and the other 5 guys that play it.
There's been a little bit of a resurgence with that. So
nice. You just did a video on All or Nothing, didn't you?
I did, yeah.
Okay, we'll link to that.
But no, something. First of all, All or Nothing started on Modern Warfare 3, the original. So I think it's only fitting they bring it back for this one. Um, but something else that happened with Call of Duty recently, or just Activision in general, is them getting bought by Microsoft. One of the first things that happened after that was Microsoft went in and fixed the servers on like all of the old Call of Duty games. So
Okay.
kind of out of nowhere, you could find matches in like Modern Warfare 2, Modern Warfare 3,
The
Black Ops.
originals, obviously.
Yeah.
That's
Um
that's pretty cool. Good for them.
yeah. So, old channel that we both used to watch, Straight Up Knives. I've
Straight
watched
up
a little
knife.
bit. He's still doing stuff.
Does he?
Yeah, he's more of a streamer now, but
Okay.
I watched a couple of his streams recently, and he went back into All or Nothing, and it's not a ton, but there was like a
Sure.
hundred and some people in that
Yeah.
playlist in just
Do
All
you
or Nothing.
remember? Do you remember when we were tweeting Straight Up Knife, like probably spam tweeting him, and he tweeted us back, and we just lost our mind?
I still remember. I got in a match with him one time, and I killed him, and it was like the proudest moment of my life.
I don't remember that. That was yeah, that's awesome.
I don't think I was playing with any of you guys. I was just playing
Sure.
one random night. I got in a lobby with him, and I remember I took a video of it on like
Yeah.
the video editor on there. And I put in all caps. It's like, I killed SUK. I was like, holy shit.
Oh my god, I did it. Man, good times on Mod 3. I
Oh
was
yeah.
just thinking like this might be one I have to pick up cuz that's the one I played the most
Oh yeah.
cuz we were always playing that together, and I don't even want to know what my playtime was on that online.
I don't know my playtime, but I know I was at least sixth prestige on that one, which is
Oh,
far more than I did on any of the other Call of Duties.
I don't remember.
I think you were even higher than me,
I think
honestly.
I played a lot more than you guys, but like you guys were always at my house too, and we'd all play. We just take turns and stuff.
Yeah.
So I think that's how I got ahead of everybody,
Yeah.
just because everybody was playing on mine.
We're just giving you all these stats.
Prestige, baby. Like, oh, dude, we used to like make it an event. Like, come over. I think we can prestige tonight.
We're gonna prestige tonight.
We're prestiging you tonight, man.
I think my first prestige on any of those was because we were all hanging out, and I was like pretty close, and you guys were like, all right, we're gonna get you prestige tonight. I was like, okay.
Let's go. No one else. We probably like threw a legit party. Like we all like bear hugged each other and stuff.
Yep.
Oh god, what
Those good
nerds!
times.
Hey, I'd do it now.
If we all lived anywhere near each other and
That's true. Yeah, pretty far
had
apart.
free time. But yeah, so Call of Duty Modern Warfare 3 coming back. They better add the game modes we want, or we will riot.
All or nothing, or nothing.
Yeah.
Honestly, I will not purchase
Aeon or nothing.
Aeon or nothing.
All right. Well, we'll go ahead and move on from that and get into talking about Rockstar.
Here it is. It's back.
Yep. One of the more respected big game studios, I would say. I don't think up until this point a mainline title has done bad at all. I think they've all had a really good reception, really good release. Up until I think last year, maybe the GTA trilogy, which was GTA 3, Vice City, and San Andreas, was horribly ported to newer consoles and basically couldn't run at all.
Right.
And everyone's been very eagerly awaiting GTA 6. There's been a few leaks on it, but nothing really official from Rockstar. And now we got an announcement from Rockstar that they are porting the original Red Dead Redemption to Switch and PS4.
And how much is that going to cost, Jacob?
That game, which released in, let me just, just for funsies here.
Let's get our facts straight.
That game, which released in 2010, 13 years ago.
That's 13 years ago. It's quick math.
Which I will add is not being remastered, is not getting a frame boost, is $50.
50.
Yeah. $10 less than a brand new PS4 or Switch title.
That's $10 less than what you bought it for in 2010.
Yeah.
Because games were $60 back then. And like a 2K executive was quoted saying, "That's commercially accurate, sir." Okay.
That is profoundly stupid. I
couldn't agree more, my friend.
If anyone buys this, I'm going to be so sad because first of all, I didn't even realize it wasn't on PS4. I thought it, and it's not on PC either. I thought it had been ported to those years ago.
Yeah.
Yeah,
so it never came digitally, right? It has to be.
I don't think it did. I know you can play it on Xbox One and Series consoles because they're backwards compatible, but you can't play it on PS4. It's just now coming to Switch, and it's at least not on Steam. I don't know if there's another way to play it on PC.
Huh. Yeah, I don't know. I've never looked. Obviously, I mean, I've looked into Red Dead 2. I know you can play that on PS4 and Steam.
Mm-hmm.
I never thought about Red Dead 1, though.
Yeah, and it's just... I think what makes me the most upset about this announcement is just why.
Money.
But why, though? Like, if they wanted money out of it, they could have polished it up a little bit, make it run at 60 FPS. Like,
it's got to be this exact same game that ran on your Xbox 360, right?
Yeah.
So, I mean, they probably just took that file, switched it, whatever they got to do to convert it to a Switch game, and save themselves 2 years of polish, probably.
Yeah. But
I don't know.
$50?
Yeah, I'm not agreeing with it.
Like,
I'm not agreeing with it at all. 30, I think, would have been fine. I don't think we would have complained.
That,
and you get, Jacob, you get the Undead Nightmare DLC.
Yeah, but I'm pretty sure you could get that bundle on Xbox like 5 years ago for $20.
I was seeing something that you can play it for free on Xbox. I don't know how. Is it on Game Pass? I just saw a tweet or something.
So you can buy the Undead Nightmare Collection for Xbox 360 for $10 from GameStop.
10?
10?
That's used? That's used,
no,
though.
I don't think it is. I think
okay.
I think that's new.
That's brand spanking new, baby.
And I just, like, why bother, honestly?
I don't know, man.
Who's asking for it on these other consoles at this point? Like, if people
I don't know.
wanted to play it, they have played it. Like,
yeah. I played it back in 2010.
Yeah.
And I have no desire to play it again.
Yeah. I mean, first of all, Red Dead 2, like, even though I wouldn't say it was perfect. I think it did everything that Red Dead 1 did, but even better.
Yeah, and it's a prequel.
Yeah.
So it's not like you have to play Red Dead 1 before 2. Frankly, I think you should play 2 before you play 1. You know? Maybe, but yeah, I don't know, man. I think 2K just went to Rockstar and they're like, yo, you're taking a long time on GTA 6. We need something. Like, we need something to fill the year, you know?
Yeah.
It's like last year was the GTA ports.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, maybe this one will at least run well. I don't know.
I mean, I think the only bar they have to cross is just making it run as good as it did on 360, which,
which on the Switch might be tough, but
yeah.
PS4 is no problem.
Yeah, PS4 it's gonna run easy. But yeah, the Switch.
Okay, so we say PS4. Is it coming to PS5 as well?
I think it's through backwards compatible. You'll be able to play it on PS5, but it's not going to have like a PS5 upgrade or anything. It's just basically going to be like playing a PS4 game on your PS5.
Yeah. It's just weird they're not selling it as you can play it on your PS5. Like it's coming to PS5 and 4.
Mm-hmm.
And
yeah,
Switch.
they're only saying PS4 and Switch. They're not even acknowledging PS5. And I think that's because they don't want to market it as like a remaster or that it's going to be upgraded at all by playing it on PS5.
That's just kind of a weird way to do it, because I feel like as a PS5 owner, you're going to say, oh, crap, I never should have got rid of my PS4 because now I can't play that.
Yeah.
I don't know. It's just weird. And to not advertise it coming to Xbox, when if it's only playable on Xbox from backwards compatibility, what if I never had it?
Yeah.
Is it still going to come to Xbox where I can play it? Can I currently grab it on Xbox? I don't know.
Yeah.
It's confusing. It confuses me.
Yeah. Well, I think where it's confusing and where I kind of thought that it was always on PS4 is because you've been able to play it on the last two Xbox consoles through backwards compatibility forever.
Yeah.
Like it's still technically a 360 game, but you've been able to play it on the last two generations of Xbox. I just kind of assumed.
Yeah, but only if I had it for 360.
Yeah.
The disc. Mm-hmm. So if I never had it on 360, but I wanted to play it on my Xbox One, could I?
Yeah.
Could I download it digitally?
I think so. I think I have it digitally, actually.
But I couldn't do that on PS4.
Nope.
That's weird.
Yeah.
Why hasn't this been looked into?
I don't know. I think
that makes no sense.
It's just
because wasn't the PS4 backwards compatible with PS3?
No.
It was not.
No. That was probably one of the only things that Xbox One had over PS4 was the fact that it was backwards compatible. Because PS4, you could technically play PS3 games, but it was through PlayStation Now.
Yes, I remember that now.
Mm-hmm. So you had to stream them, basically.
Yeah, I remember doing that.
Mm-hmm.
So you couldn't put your Last of Us disc in your PS4, your PS3 Last of Us disc in your PS4, and it wouldn't do anything?
Nope.
Okay, I don't remember that. That was a long time ago.
Yeah, I mean, it was 10 years ago now. 2013.
2013, yeah, you're right. 10 years.
Yeah, so...
That comes out, is that coming out this year?
I think that comes out soon, like in the next few weeks or something. Where did it go? I thought I read it was like next week. October 13th. Okay, so that's on Switch and PS4 comes out October 13th.
October 13th.
So a couple
you got
months.
a couple months yet.
Yeah.
Oh, and this wasn't on our outline, but just really quick, I saw Assassin's Creed Mirage is coming out a week early.
Really?
They moved up their release date. I believe from the 12th to the 5th. Yeah,
Okay.
from the 12th to the 5th.
I wonder what that's about.
Competition
Yeah.
is what I'm guessing. Something else is coming out around that time that I can't remember.
Is it Starfield?
Starfield,
No, that's September 6th. Yeah. I know
S-
SpiderMan is October 20th.
Okay, maybe that's it.
So maybe they want a little bit of space in between that.
Their market research says that people will buy two $60 games 2 weeks apart, but not 1 week apart.
Yeah.
I don't know.
The pay period. You get your paycheck every 2 weeks. That's a new game.
You're good to go.
Yeah. Yeah. I'm sure that's what it's about. I don't think they've just knocked this one out of the park and it's ready to go now or anything. I think they just said, "Oh shit, we don't want to be that close to Spider-Man. Like, let's."
Yeah.
All right.
I think they
Speed it up a little bit.
Yeah, a week earlier. They announced that they went gold.
Oh, did they?
Which I guess means the game is done.
Well,
But it's done by Ubisoft standards, you know.
done in quotes, like
Yeah, exactly.
done as in we've
I've
printed
gone
it.
gold. Yeah, it's ready. I can say anything's gone gold.
Yeah. Those devs are still just working their hands to the bone for the next few months on that day one patch.
Those poor schmucks. I feel bad for them.
Yeah, but okay. Well, I'm still optimistic about that one. I'm hoping
same.
it's good. You know,
And to wrap up our Red Dead discussion, just don't buy this.
No.
If you want a fun Red Dead experience, go play Red Dead 2.
Yeah.
It's a prequel.
It's great.
And it's way newer and pretty cool.
Yeah, it looks stupidly good.
Yeah.
Like,
I still need to play it. Sorry, I haven't played it, but I've watched it all on YouTube and it's pretty good.
Yeah. It looks great, plays great. One of the best stories. I think Arthur Morgan is an even better protagonist than John Marston was. So, yeah, just play Red Dead 2.
I don't mean to go on too big of a tangent here, but Arthur Morgan as a character, like, I wasn't expecting that, you know?
Mm-hmm.
Just like how good of a character he was, like how likable he was and stuff like that. Like, I was thinking about it with Final Fantasy 16, which I still haven't finished.
Mm-hmm.
But the main character, Clive, like I kind of pictured him like maybe as a protagonist. Like he doesn't look very likable.
Mm-hmm.
And I was like, well, that's quick to judgment because Arthur Morgan, I don't think looks very likable.
No,
I don't know what a likable character looks like. And I don't think Geralt from Witcher 3 looks very likable either. But you know, the writing is so good that they're extremely likable. They have humor, they have humility, they're kind,
mm-hmm.
and stuff like that. I agree. Arthur Morgan is one of the best video game characters out there.
Oh, for sure.
Way better than John Marston.
Yeah. But yeah, don't pay $50 for this. Play Red Dead 2. You'll have a better
Get Red Dead 2 on sale for $30.
Yeah. It's probably less than that on Steam, probably.
Probably.
But yeah, that wraps up our Rockstar rant there. Now I wanted to real quick get into some Nintendo talk.
I love Nintendo talk.
Don't we all? So recently, I don't know how official any of this is. I mean, it's not official; it's rumors, but
It's not official at all, actually.
some YouTube channels that I follow have talked recently about everyone being very confident that we're getting the next Nintendo console next year, probably. They're thinking right now it's Switch 2 is kind of the prediction.
They
Which
will
I
not
think,
name it Switch 2.
I don't think so. But
It'll be some crazy off the wall
yeah.
name that none of us can predict.
Yeah. But the hope is that it's whatever they call it, it's a Switch but upgraded. It's still handheld, but you can still play it docked and so on and whatever. Because I am not responsible, I have no self-control. I'm gonna get it probably day one. But I wanted to ask you, because you are much more responsible than I am.
That's not true.
What would need to be added to this system for you to want to buy it?
I heard this question brought up on other podcasts, and there was an answer that I myself hadn't thought of that I thought was probably the number one answer, and it's backwards compatibility.
Oh,
it
yeah.
has to be able to play this Switch is cartridges, or I mean, it has to play your cartridges, right? It can't just be a download. That's easy. But I know several people that only buy physical Switch things. They like having the case and they like having the cartridge. They don't bother with digital stuff. If they don't include backwards compatibility, that's going to hurt them bad.
Yeah.
Because people they want to be able to play their old games on their new thing.
Yeah.
Besides that, though, Joy-Cons fixed. I'm so sick of the drift. And the fact that they haven't fixed it, like brand new Joy-Cons out of the box today will still get drift the same as they did 6 years ago, tells me that the new ones will be better.
They need to be.
Because I don't know. Nintendo seems like the type of people that won't give you what you want until it's on a brand new device.
Yeah.
Like, hey, you want your controllers not to drift? Come on down, buy our new thing. I don't have an OLED, but I think, it's just a rumor that it's just an LCD screen, right?
Yeah.
Is that part of the rumor?
The rumor that I heard was that they're going to go back to LCD, which I think is a mistake. But
is it the original Switch? The original Switch is an LCD, right? Yeah, it's not bad, but again, I haven't looked at this OLED.
Yeah.
So I hope it's at least a bigger screen, like the OLED. Like, doesn't have the enormous bezels on it.
I will say
that, I don't know.
Yeah, as someone who has had both the original and the OLED, I will say it does make quite a bit of difference just having the smaller bezel and just a clearer, brighter picture.
Sure.
Like, it's still, it's 720p, which is, for handheld, it's pretty eh.
I think that's fine for handheld.
It works for handheld.
Yeah.
But the OLED does help with just making it clearer, make it pop a little more. The colors are more vibrant. And I think if you want, your new Switch to seem at all like an upgrade, I think it needs that. Like, the picture is going to be one of the things that they need to improve on. Picture and the frame rate for this new Switch.
Yeah. I mean, what does the Steam Deck do? Is the Steam Deck leagues above the Switch in handheld?
Steam Deck it's still 720p, which again is fine for handheld, at least
Mhm.
in this generation. I think it can get up to 60 FPS.
Okay. So I was just gonna say, I think Nintendo really has an opportunity here to be be like the benchmark for handheld. Really push this thing and make it really powerful.
Mm-hmm.
But again, I don't know if Nintendo would do that. I
Yeah,
think the same reason they release a Pokemon game every single year, and it's maybe not as different as everybody would want it.
mm-hmm.
They just don't care. People are gonna buy it. you
Yeah,
know.
yeah. I think something that you said a little bit ago, I think makes a lot of sense. They're not the type of company that's going to fix something that's already out. They look at the people, or what people have problems with the Switch, and just say, okay, we don't care.
Yeah, I mean, they had to
That
have a court tell them they have to start fixing their Joy Cons.
Yeah, they're
They
gonna
don't
be
have
like,
to like. You can send them in and get them fixed. They won't
mhm,
actually fix what's before they break.
yeah, they're gonna say, hey, that sucks. But that thing's old news.
Yeah,
Check back
it's
in
the
a
same.
few years. We'll have the new shit for you.
Yeah, and it's gonna cost $350 or $400. Don't you
Yeah.
worry.
Yep.
But it's the same reason that if you were to buy a new 3DS at the time, it didn't come with a charger. They assume you already have a charger
Yeah.
because it's the same thing that ran your 2DS or whatever. I might be making that up. I don't know, but I feel like I remember hearing that. Yeah, when you wouldn't back in the day when you would buy a new 3DS or whatever, it didn't have a charger because it's the same charger. It was the same charger that was used in the previous several handhelds. So they just assumed that you already had one. And if you didn't, you just had to go buy it separately.
God,
It's
that's
kind
like
of,
an Apple thing to do.
oh,
Like,
yep, yep. It's scummy. For
yeah,
sure, it's scummy.
yeah. But I mean, I know me. I'm gonna see it. I'm gonna say, "Ooh, that looks cool," and I'm
Yeah.
gonna drop
It,
$400 on it right
and
away.
we're such big Switch fans and Nintendo fans. I don't think there's any question we're just gonna go get it.
Yeah,
And launch titles, well, of whatever is gonna be at launch is gonna dictate, when you get it. I mean, it'll never go on sale, so
yeah,
I guess it doesn't matter. But I mean, Zelda's not gonna be on it. Maybe the new 3D Mario would be a launch title.
yeah. If they want, I mean, it's gonna sell no matter what. Like,
Yeah,
Pokemon has been unfinished for several years now, and they still sell like 20 million copies in the first 3 months or something.
yeah.
Like,
Sword and Shield and Scarlet and Violet are still in the top 10 best-selling Switch games ever.
yeah,
And maybe in like top 8. And
yeah,
even those weren't the most popular for somehow, but they still sold extremely well. So
yeah. So
again, these gaming companies don't care.
yeah, they're no matter what, Nintendo will be printing money off of this. But God, I hope that they have a really solid launch title. And I don't really have a prediction, but my hope would be either new Mario, uh, new 3D Mario, so Odyssey 2 or whatever.
Right.
Um, New Mario Kart, like brand new, not just like a
Not,
DLC.
not, not gonna happen, buddy. Sorry.
Um, or one that they've been building up to forever is Metroid Prime 4.
Ooh, yeah.
I could see that potentially being a launch title.
I think we could fill an entire podcast episode talking about Metroid Prime 4 and the ups and downs that game has gone through. But yeah, that would be a big seller for a lot of people.
Mm-hmm.
Not me, but
Somebody.
I might play it if it looks cool. I played Metroid Prime 1 on my GameCube.
I think I had it on. I had one of the Metroids on my Game Boy Advanced, I think.
Was it Metroid Fusion?
Yeah, I think
Was
it
she
was.
blue? Yeah,
Yeah.
I had that one too, bro.
Yeah, that was a good one.
It was good.
Yeah, so Nintendo forever breaking our hearts, and we still give them our money.
Just keep on buying it.
But anyway, another sort of Nintendo news that wasn't really news, honestly, is there was a Pokemon Presents last week. I didn't watch it. I kind of just skimmed through a recap video and some articles, and I don't care about any of this.
Okay. I'm glad we brought it up.
Yeah, I don't know. This is going to be such a ranty video. I'm sorry. But yeah, they talked about there's a couple new Pokemon shows in the works. Like there's what looks like more of a 3D animated series. There's a new anime coming out, I believe. Yeah, Pokemon Horizons is a new anime. There's a DLC coming out for Scarlet and Violet.
Which looks weird.
Yeah. There's also apparently you're going to be able to get Mew and Mewtwo in Scarlet and Violet.
Okay, yeah.
Which I'm not going to play, but if you do, like, that might be cool.
Yeah.
They are bringing the Pokemon trading card game for Game Boy Color to Switch Online, as well
That's
as
pretty
Pokemon
cool.
Stadium 2 for N64, which that's pretty cool. I
pretty
enjoyed Pokemon Stadium.
I'm pretty sure I had the Pokemon trading card game on my Game Boy.
Yeah.
Sounds really familiar.
Yeah. And then a new Detective Pikachu, which I think we saw during the Nintendo Direct.
Yeah.
Around the Key 3 part of the year.
Yep.
But yeah, I
Jake,
was there any of this that you were overly excited about?
No. Pokemon's weird. I like Pokemon. I like it.
Mm-hmm.
But I don't do anything with it. I buy the games. I don't particularly like really get into them.
Mm-hmm.
I'll turn the anime on when it's just like me and my daughter chilling on the couch and I can't watch The Witcher or Game of Thrones or something.
Yeah.
So I throw on that and I'll watch that with her. I like it, but it's nothing amazing.
Yeah.
I don't love it like the rest of the world does.
Yeah, it's like I said, with Nintendo, they I've loved them since I was a kid, and they just continuously let me down.
Mm-hmm.
Like,
I saw what did they do with the Raikou, the legendary dog from like Gen 2? They turned him into a giraffe. Did you see that?
no. What was
I'm pretty sure it's Raikou. Raikou. Yeah, he's a giraffe now. He's not a cool saber-tooth tiger.
Okay. I no, you know what I do? I see what you're talking about now. What the heck?
I don't know, man.
Why? What was
A
wrong
lot of
with
people don't like this new design, as you can guess.
Raikou new form? What? I don't understand. What was wrong with the Sabertooth? That I think that's pretty cool.
Let's see. It's supposed to be what was I saying? They're going to be paradox Pokemon based on Raikou and Kabalion. Yeah.
Okay.
So you're getting some old legendaries, but they're a paradox, man. They're being redesigned.
Okay.
I liked Raikou and Entei. Entei was the other one, and like the ice one. I can't remember their name. Suicune. That's close.
Yeah, I remember Entei very vividly.
Because he was in the movie.
Yeah.
He was in the. That's. I loved the movie back in the day.
Oh yeah, I think I heard. I couldn't even tell you where, but I heard on a podcast or a YouTube video or something recently that they called the Pokemon the first movie like one of the worst, like,
excuse me,
anime movies. I was like, how dare you?
For real?
That
like
movie.
the one with Mewtwo?
Yeah,
no, that's an amazing movie.
that is an event in my childhood. Going to see that movie.
I vividly remember going to see that movie and crying my eyes out.
Yeah.
As a little 8-year-old child or whatever I was.
I remember going to the movie. I remember getting the Mew like hieroglyphic card.
Ooh,
that I am so mad I don't have anymore.
Yeah, that would be worth some money now, I'm sure.
Oh, definitely. And I just remember hearing that, and I was just like, nope, I don't know who you are. You have no credibility to me anymore.
You have crappy taste, sir. Did you know that they remade it?
Yeah, and Pikachu talks in it, I think.
Yeah, I don't know about that.
I think I remembered there's I don't know if it's like a 1-for-1 remake, but I remember hearing that they remade it, and I don't know if it's the entire movie, but in the scene where Ash is turned to stone or whatever, that Pikachu talks to him in like a actual in words.
I don't remember. It's been a few years since I've watched the remake. But I watched the remake with my daughter a few years ago, and both of us are crying when Ash was turned to stone. Like, oh my god, she's probably gonna be traumatized just like I was when I was a kid.
Yeah. How do you think we became sad boys?
Yeah, sure. I just turned my daughter into a sad girl. Darn it. Just because of Pokemon.
Yep. Yeah. Once again, Pokemon, I love you. I just do better, please.
I don't know. I don't know what it would take for me to really love a Pokemon game or project or something.
I was so close with Pokemon Legends. I really was. When that game came out, I'm not actually crying. I have some. When that game came out, I was like genuinely hooked on it the way that I was when I was a kid. And there was a lot of good there. They just wasn't enough. And I don't know what they need to do to to win back the reputation of, everyone that grew up with it.
I'll link to Jake's Legends Arceus video, and you can to really grasp his full thoughts. That's a funny one.
Forgot about that one.
That's a funny one. I like that one.
Yeah. But anyway,
All right.
got a couple more things that I wanted to touch on. So there's been some more news about Spider-Man 2, which I am very excited for. I don't know. I think you played the 2018 one, right?
I started it, never finished it.
Okay. Are you excited for this new one?
I will watch it on YouTube.
Okay.
Superhero games, I don't like them.
Okay.
I love Spider-Man. Spider-Man's my favorite superhero.
Mhm.
But I don't like playing a superhero game. I don't know why.
Okay. I mean, I can't judge you for that. I know that there are some things about these games that are not ideal. I will say that the combat can get very repetitive.
Mhm.
But once you kind of unlock some of the special moves and you kind of understand your full arsenal for combat, it makes it a lot more interesting. And you can kind of plan out how you want to attack.
Sure.
And the traversal, web swinging is
obviously, yeah, that's the best part.
it's buttery smooth. It's so satisfying to be able to just swing through the entire city, not slow down for a second, and make hairpin turns wherever you go.
I definitely enjoyed that aspect, and the kind of weird little mini games that there were, having to move the water through the pipes through the buildings. Those is really creative, and I'm sure if I jump back in, I would enjoy it. But I don't have time.
That's
I gotta
fair.
pick and choose here.
Yeah, and it comes out right around the time of a bunch of other games that are going to be big and really good.
That I already won't have time for those either.
Yeah. But anyway, there's been a couple sort of updates on Spider-Man 2. There's been some more story stuff revealed about it. We, I think, can confirm that Harry Osborn is Venom.
That's pretty cool.
Which I really like that change. Because if you've seen the ending of the last game, you know that Harry is in it. I don't know how much I should get into for spoiler purposes, but in the trailers for Spider-Man 2, or in the most recent story trailer, Harry is taking an active role, and him and Pete are working together on something. And I'm pretty sure there's a scene it's a very quick cut, but there's a scene of Harry and Norman Osborn in a lab, and in the background it sort of looks like you can see the symbiote just working its way around in a tank.
Gotcha.
I can't confirm if that's it, but I'm almost positive that that's what it is.
I think that would be a cool little twist, being other than Eddie Brock.
Mm-hmm. And there was another thing that there's a line that Harry says to Peter in the beginning of the trailer, or pretty early on. I think he says we're gonna heal the world together, or something like that. And then at the end of the trailer, you hear Venom say that.
Ooh.
Which that kind of feels like a
giveaway.
A nod as well. So yeah, definitely looking forward to that, for both, obviously for the gameplay standpoint, but also for the story. I'm I'm interested to
Yeah.
see how they handle Peter dealing with the symbiote and kind of trying to control him, and then also how Miles will deal with, like, what Peter's turning into.
Bully Maguire.
Yeah. I swear to God, if they don't have some sort of Bully Maguire reference.
Hey, Spider-Verse did it.
And they did a great job with it too.
And I did this.
And yeah, that
happened.
Yeah, even just
I hope
that,
there's
just
a little nod. That's all
Yeah.
we need. Did you play Miles Morales?
Yeah.
Okay.
I played that one. I beat it. I basically 100%ed the first Spider-Man. I didn't for Miles Morales, but I did beat the story, and I did a lot
Sure.
of the side stuff.
Not all of them.
But I enjoyed both of them a lot. I don't know. I might have enjoyed Miles Morales just slightly more because of some of his new abilities.
Yeah, he's cooler than Spider-Man or than
Yeah.
Peter. Right? Yeah. He's got way cooler powers.
Yeah. Although with Peter having the Venom powers, that might,
Yeah.
that might give him an edge.
Out. Yep.
But yeah, so looking forward to that. Another thing that I did not realize until I watched the Comic-Con panel on it. Did you know Laura Bailey plays MJ?
No.
I did not know
Laura
that either.
Laura Bailey's in everything.
I swear to God, every game I play or I hear about that has any form of story aspect, I feel like she's involved in.
I mean, rightfully so. She's a phenomenal voice actress.
100%. But yeah, I didn't know that until today. Also, just one more thing. Insomniac, stop releasing cool stuff that I want to buy. I can't afford it.
Are you referring to the very expensive collector's edition?
No, that I already have admitted to.
Okay.
They also announced a collector's PS5, which is the first
the
collector's edition of the PS5 console.
Yep, I saw that.
Which you can also just buy the sides or the covers.
Yeah, right.
And a DualSense for it as well.
The controller is sweet.
Yeah. And that's why I say, Insomniac, please stop.
Has that also already been pre-ordered?
It is not. I have not pre-ordered that. I'm trying so hard to not do it, 'cause I don't need it. I have
right.
I have 4 PS4 controllers or PS5
Goodness
controllers.
gracious.
It came with 2. It came with 2 white ones. Jetpack got me a red one for Christmas 2 years ago.
I have the red one too.
Yeah. And then when God of War came out, I got the collector's God of War one, which
how could you not?
I love it. I use it basically every time I play.
Mm-hmm.
I don't need another one. Why did you have to make it cool?
There's people out there that have every single Switch console that's released.
Yeah.
Like, how do you do that? That's a lot of money.
You do this for a living. That's
rich people, man, I tell you.
Yeah. I don't know, man. But Spider-Man looks very cool. I'm excited for it.
Me too. I'm excited to watch it.
Yeah. maybe I'll stream it.
Have you seen the new Spider-Verse?
Yes.
I watched it the other night. Incredible.
Yeah.
Incredible.
I mean, I don't know like what I can say about it that hasn't already been said. It's just, the animation is in a league of its own.
Mm-hmm.
The story's great. The voice acting is phenomenal.
Did you know that Haley Steinfeld plays Gwen?
I did.
I did not.
Yeah.
I was wondering who voiced her.
she does a great job. I really like that they kind of delved into her story a bit more.
Definitely.
Got
Like
into
the
her
movie
backstory.
starts with her, not Miles, which was a fun little detail.
Yeah. And they're dipping into the multiverse, but I think they're doing it in a good way
A
where,
not boring, done before way.
yeah, like there's a great move or a great YouTube video I saw recently. It was called like Multiverse Fatigue,
Mm-hmm.
and it just talked about, the MCU and DC and all of these like major franchises that are just hammering home the multiverse in all of their series, and
Yeah.
like in order to get the full story of, you know the not just MCU but even like Star Wars, like you have to watch all of these shows and like
Mm-hmm.
uh prequels, and there's like all this lore that's kind of mixed into all these different properties, and it's just too much. It's too hard to follow everything.
Yeah.
And I
It,
think Spider-Verse has done it in a way that it's actually, it's complex, but not in a way that's like difficult to understand.
right. It's interesting, and I don't know. They don't make it the main. I mean, it's in the title, but
Mm-hmm.
it's not. I don't know. It's not like the main focus of the show or of the
Yeah.
movies. It's the characters. I don't know.
Yeah.
I
It's
thought it was a perfect movie. The humor was good. It wasn't cheesy.
mm-hmm.
I genuinely laughed out loud several times. Whereas like other Marvel movies, I'm like, okay, they're cue a quip, some
Yeah.
sort of Tony Stark, Peter Quill quip,
Mm-hmm.
and sure there it was, okay, but yeah, I didn't feel that way with Spider-Verse at all.
Yeah. I think the thing about Spider-Verse using the multiverse and it not feeling that way is just the fact that it's not like they don't bog you down with all the details of like this is how we, you know, how we blend them together and this is how time works and all of it. It's just like there's different universes. We use these watches to travel through them. Look at all these other
Yeah.
spider people. Like,
Yep. And Gwen doesn't have 3 movies you got to watch to understand how she got
yeah.
here. It's all concise in one story. So
Mm-hmm.
I think that's why it works so well.
Yeah. And they did end on a cliffhanger.
I wasn't expecting that.
Yeah.
Big time cliffhanger.
Yeah. Which, is rightfully so. It's going to build a ton of hype. I hope that the Writers Guild and the Actors Guild and all of these strikes that are going on can come to an end in a way that works for these unions,
Mm-hmm.
so that they can get back to making these movies and like finish out
Yeah.
this series.
Yeah, it's gonna be dry here in like a year because
Yeah.
nobody's working on anything.
Well, it's
Bunch of
like
Go ahead.
um well, back in like 2008, I think there was a writer's
Yep.
strike.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't think I watched that much television
Yeah.
or anything at the time.
Yeah, we didn't care.
Yeah, but you know, looking back at it now and kind of hearing people talk about it, you don't realize how many like uh reality shows popped up in that time, like how big that got and how
Yeah, because
much,
they're not unionized.
yeah, and how much,
Wow,
you know, written shows kind of fell off or just stopped completely
that's
during
true.
that time.
That's wild.
Yeah.
When I think about that old writer's strike, I think about Breaking Bad and how the
Mhm.
writer's strike shortened season 1 and
Yeah.
essentially changed everything because Vince Gilligan said he planned on killing Jesse Pinkman in
Yeah.
season 1,
Mhm.
but after the writer's strike, he changed his mind and it's like, we'll keep him around.
Yeah.
And he turned out to be a completely iconic character. Couldn't imagine Breaking Bad done without him.
Yeah.
So I mean, who knows what other cool stuff will come out of this? Like you said, hopefully these unions can get these multi-billionaires to listen to them and give them what they need.
Yeah. They just need to, you know, hold out long enough that these billionaire CEOs realize, like, we're not making any money anymore. Like,
Yeah.
and, pay people what they're owed.
Yep.
But yeah. So I think that's about, Spider-Man's about covered there. And there's one more thing that I wanted to touch on, as we're approaching 2 hours yet again. So recently, I didn't even realize this, but Ratchet and Clank Rift Apart was ported to PC, which
Okay, that's the newest one, right?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
It was I think it was a PS5 launch title, or came out shortly after PS5.
Okay.
Heard it was good. Never played it.
Yeah.
Never really played any Ratchet and Clank. But anyway, PC Gamer magazine put out a review, that basically said, it's a good game. It's ported really well. We don't think 10 hours is worth $60.
Oh, is it that short?
I guess. But it sparked a bit of a debate on Twitter, or X, whatever
Yeah,
people
please.
call it now. It's Twitter. But it sparked a debate on whether or not you should judge a game's worth or value based on runtime.
Mm.
And it had me kind of thinking, like, there's definitely in recent years, there's been a focus on making like massive open worlds, and not necessarily just open worlds, but massive games that you can put hundreds of hours into. And it kind of got me thinking of, the games that I used to like to play growing up, and how a lot of them were just, 10 to 15 hour games that were just really well made.
Yeah.
And
How Long to Beat has a completionist at 18 hours, but
yeah.
main story is only 11.
Yeah. But it's kind of, it got me wondering, do you think that how long you can play a game, at least on, one playthrough, should dictate the cost of it? Like, if it's only 10 hours or 12 hours, but it's a really well-made game, it's really fun, there's a good story, maybe there are some replayability parts of it, but it's not like this huge, like, sprawling open world, do you think that can still be the same price as one of those massive games?
That's tough because I've heard a lot of argument for like the opposite of what you said, PC Gamer.
Mm-hmm.
Or what PC Gamers the stance they took, whereas I think people want shorter games.
Yeah.
And I don't think they care. I think most people are willing to pay $60 for a shorter game. And this was a really well-made game. I remember seeing it. It was kind of like a tech demo is maybe not giving it its due, but it seemed like kind of like to show off exactly what this PS5 can handle. Because they did that thing where you like shoot a gun and you open a portal to another dimension or world or whatever, and you fly through it and it's seamless.
Yeah.
So I mean, I think to show off how powerful the PS5 is, I think did exactly that. It was a well-made game, a cool looking game. Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, I've always kind of wondered that too. Like a game you can put 150 hours in, no problem. Like Persona 5 you can get for $60, or Ratchet and Clank you can get for $60, and you're going to spend a fifth of the time on one.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. As I think it just really appeals to your taste as a gamer.
Mm-hmm.
I think developers or publishers will just put it out there for whatever price, and I don't know, the people that don't think it's worth it won't, and the ones that don't care will.
Yeah.
I don't know. I don't know.
Yeah. And I mean, I'm kind of in the same boat. Like there's definitely, there are people who want a more open game that they can pour hundreds of hours into. Um, and there are games in that aspect that I enjoy as well, but I do kind of miss the days of a game uh coming out and just knowing that, okay, I'm going to play through it. It's going to be like 10 to 15 hours probably,
Mm-hmm.
but I'm going to enjoy every second of that, and it's going to, it's going to leave an impact on me, but then I can move on. Where with these massive games, I feel like I'm putting so much time into it, and sometimes I don't feel like I'm getting that much of a return on it. Like,
Yeah.
you know, Zelda is aside, it's a different, the whole point of that game is the exploration and
Yeah.
the
I mean, 11 hours into that game, you're, gosh, barely getting off the Great Sky Island, probably.
yeah.
So, I mean, you've barely done anything. And
Hmm.
yeah, I don't know. Whereas, so you're saying like when you put 30, 40 hours into Zelda and it feels like you just have so much further to go, you don't get much out of that. Whereas if you played a game like this, you did everything, you rolled credits, and you only spent 20 hours on it,
Yeah.
that could feel a little more fulfilling.
Yeah. I
I
think,
agree with that.
yeah, Zelda is sort of a bad example because I do, you know, I do feel fulfilled in playing that because the exploration and the progression is it's the point of the game and it's what I enjoy about it. But let's say, something like Assassin's Creed Valhalla. It's a stupidly massive game
Mm-hmm.
that I think, what's like the time to beat? I feel like the time to beat on that is probably 40 plus hours. And it's just after a while, it's just kind of about 60 hours, 60 and a
Yep.
half.
Yep.
And that's exhausting for
Yeah.
a game that is kind of trying to do a lot of different things. Like they want to be the open world exploration, but they also want it to be a very rich story driven experience. And you can't do all at once, or very few people can.
Yeah.
But I don't know. I
And
don't.
even something like Valhalla just kind of felt empty,
Hmm.
where it felt like I spent 60 hours, maybe like half of that was just sailing in a boat.
Yeah.
It's because I just searched The Witcher 3, and that's 51 and a half hours.
Hmm.
And like, it doesn't feel like a 50 and a half hour game. You're having fun that whole time.
Hmm.
Whereas I didn't feel that way with Valhalla at all. It was a drag getting through most of that game.
Yeah. See, and Witcher is an example of a game that I think did it right, because even though it is a very big game and you can put a lot of time into it, pretty much everything you do feels purposeful. Like, even if you're not following the main story, like there are side quests that you can do, and like it's kind of like Zelda. Part of the fun is the progression and like exploration,
Mhm.
fighting all these new monsters, and um really experiencing everything the world has to offer. But I think that in terms of like value, I would put that equal to a game like The Last of Us or Uncharted, that might just be a like start to finish linear game, but I still feel like I get the same like amount of enjoyment out of it, because it was well made from start to finish.
And I'm kind of realizing something about myself just now is I don't play short games.
Mm-hmm.
Like I play a few games and I put a lot of time into them,
Mm-hmm.
or I try one and I bounce off really quick. But I'm trying to think of like the last like quote unquote not huge open world game I beat.
Mm-hmm.
I kind of can't think of one because I never played like the Uncharted's or even The Last of Us. I never played those.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I don't know. I guess and I would probably never play Ratchet and Clank. Um, Probably I don't know. I feel like if I were to play Ratchet and Clank like with my daughter or something like that, I would.
Mm-hmm.
But I don't think that I don't I don't think the playtime I would put into it would be my deciding factor. So honestly, don't know. I think it all just boils down to taste, you know.
Yeah.
Whereas someone like you, I feel like you definitely. I mean, you've probably beaten more games in the past couple of years than I have. At least like rolled credits on.
Yeah.
Just because I play games forever and never end up rolling credits on them.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah. I I think you make a good point. You know, it comes down to preference and what you want to get out of a game. Um, and there are definitely people who are more interested in a more expanded world that you can put a lot of time into, and then there are others, kind of more like me, that prefer a game that is a little bit more streamlined, that follows a story.
Mm-hmm.
Um, so I think, I don't know if I've come to any different
Yeah. It's
conclusion
like
than
just
I.
say should playtime dictate price or value? No,
Yeah,
I guess not.
I don't think. I think the thing that bothered me about that comment was just, it kind of made it seem like they were basing their thoughts on the game solely on how long it took. And
Exactly. And
there's just
I don't
more
think that's
to it
fair.
than that.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I agree. So no, I don't think that that's fair.
Yeah.
Now, should you sell Astro's Playroom for $60? No.
No, not at all.
That's no, you should not do that.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, Ratchet and Clank, fine. Yeah, sell it for $60. It's fine. Do it.
Yeah.
Miles Morales, how much did Miles Morales cost?
I think it was 40,
Okay.
which, you know, it was a reused world, but it was a
Yeah.
completely new story. And you had new.
I think
Uh,
where they maybe like ran into trouble was it was just a couple years after SpiderMan
mm-hmm.
2018, and it was obviously less. Like if they had a Ratchet and Clank come out 2 years before Rift Apart and it
Mm-hmm.
was huge, and they released Rift Apart now right after that, then it would probably be less than $60.
Yeah.
But it's the first new Ratchet and Clank in how long? So
Yeah.
I don't know. No, the answer is no. It should not. Playtime should not dictate price or value.
Yeah.
An interesting thing about Ratchet and Clank, and it was as a tweet from a developer that worked on Ratchet and Clank, and I don't remember her name, but I found it funny. She said she had to fight so hard. The female protagonist in that game is Rivet, right?
Yeah.
She had to fight so hard to not give Rivet boobs.
Really?
Everybody wanted to give Rivet boobs.
Oh.
And she's like, it's not a mammal. Like, are they a mammal? Does she need to feed her children? Like, she doesn't need boobs. How she ever convinced them to not do it, I don't know. Good for her.
Yeah. Way to stick to your guns on that one.
Yeah. And for them to say, okay, and not just be like, shush, woman, she has boobs. But so that's good. That's good.
Yeah.
We don't need to sexualize literally every freaking character that exists.
And you know that people probably did it anyway.
Yeah, internet. I've seen what you've done to Isabel. Animal Crossing, okay? We've seen it.
Oh God. Reddit is just a godless place. It really is.
It's a crazy place for crazy people.
I still remember when we did our random reviews and you talked about the Reddit for
Shantae. More subscribers on the Not Safe for Work one than the normal one. Come on, Reddit.
Come on, guys. There.
Speaking of random review, we need to do another one.
We do. One of these times.
Yeah, when you're done with your busy season, we will.
Yeah. All right. I think, unless you've got anything else you want to mention, I think that's an episode.
No, I think we covered quite a bit. 2 hours again. Look at that.
Well, I mean,
miracle.
It's been, like a month since the last episode, so.
Yeah, lots to cover.
Yeah. Well, and it's just nice to catch up, too.
It's nice to chit-chat, you know? Don't get to do this very much.
Yeah.
Well, all right. Thank you, everybody, for watching the A to Jump podcast. I'm Justin of Justin Games. I don't post much, but you can go watch me play Horizon Forbidden West. I played that. Go over to Gooba and Jetpack's channel. They post a lot of stuff with Jetpack posts, like a lot of ambience videos.
Mm-hmm.
I do enjoy those. I'll put those on every once in a while.
They're good in the background if you're doing other stuff.
Absolutely. At work, I'll throw them on and just kind of veg while I'm doing work and stuff.
Yeah.
Jake posts very funny videos. I'll link to his All or Nothing video and his Legends Arceus one down below so you can watch those. But yeah, until next time, keep on gaming.
Keep on gaming.